Greetings and welcome to FactionMasters Season 8, Game 12. In this first round matchup, we see the Shadow Elves, played by Champ, against the Mountain Vargath, played by excile2127. And I am joined by Exile for this video. Welcome to the commentary.
Hello, hello. Happy to be back.
Yeah, so minor spoilers for the previous season. This is the player and this is the faction that won it all last year. Do you think you've got a solid path to the finals again, or do you think this is was maybe a stroke of luck or some of both?
Looking at the bracket, have a few tough matchups in the way. This one I would say can go either way. I would probably put it a little bit Shadow Elves favored, although it's probably very slight, I think. It really just depends on how dice shake out, what like the card orders are, what side is aggressing in the matchup, or should I say how quickly Mountain Vargath aggresses. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so you do want to be the aggressor in this matchup. I presume you got even a nice start with your ramming advance and your martial forces and an early gate.
You do. It depends on the draw order. So like with a starting ramming advance and like a gate and this collar, it's a very much leaning into a aggressive start. It does have its drawbacks though, because playing near Shadow Elf gates means that they're just going to be able to use their tools on you more effectively, right? They're not going to need to move as many units around. You're going to get hit by stuff like into darkness on your brutes much more easily. Sundervid's going to be easier to get pressured. So it really depends. You can out econ them in like more of a midboard trade style, or you could try to go for more like gate pressure, especially gate clogging more than gate damage necessarily. And that would be a different route to victory.
Yeah, between Into Darkness and the Onyx Tome, they can bring that 10 gate back a few times.
Yeah, that's why like gate destruction isn't the best against them. Although there is something to be said about making them spend it. You know, an Into Darkness on their 10 gate is not an Into Darkness that's spent on one of your brutes or setting up like some kind of extra damage on Sundervid. So it's nice to make them spend the resources, but it doesn't have the same punch as it would in other matchups.
Okay, well, let's get things underway. You get to go first, using the collar to move the brute out for a ramming advance. And looks like you get to play pretty much all the cards in your starting hand.
Yep, that is the plan here. I'm a firm believer in kind of doing what the dice tell you to do, and in this case, the dice told me, or doing what the cards tell you to do, and in this case, the cards told me to send it down the field.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, he has these like opening hand Into Darkness. It's roughly a 33%, like 1/3 chance that a player has any particular event in their opening hand. So if he doesn't have the Into Darkness, things can obviously get a lot worse. Part of this opening, the risk of it is that there's high upside, but also high risk. If they stumble, they don't have early gates, they don't have an early Into Darkness before I can take down the gate, the game could just be over before it begins. But it does lose a bit of efficiency because you're spending events. I spent on martial forces, I spent a ramming advance, I'm exposing a lot of things. So if they have the tools, that's where you'll then, if they, depending on how their dice roll, you can then be put on the back foot for aggression.
Yeah, so he's got the 10 gate back in hand. Deploy it slightly more safe spot. Looks like you'll probably get to shoot at him a little bit here if you want to. Got enough hits to take out a couple of your pieces on the board. So now you've got the other ramming advance and the other martial forces.
Yeah. So here is where I kind of decided to make the call of I have, a bit aggressive. If you look at like rough econ, That's for this that like kind of table turn that I said, because he had that opening into darkness happens. So I decide, well, I mean, he didn't discard much. That was a big thing. I don't think he discarded. Did he discard at all in his first turn? I actually don't
Just
think
one
he
ranger.
did.
Or no, that was the ranger you killed. Yeah, he discarded nothing.
He didn't discard at all. And I went, well, he didn't play a gate. He didn't discard. I don't know what he kept in his hand. There's could just be a low discard player, or it could be like a second Into Darkness or something like that. You know what I mean? Like high value cards he wouldn't want to discard. But I decide to kind of go for that option B that I described as opposed to more treating midboard, which I'm already a little bit behind economically. I decided to go for pressure of clogging out the gate spots, really just trying to push forward, and ultimately it's kind of like a pressure into like assassination, or making him having to make suboptimal like positions and decisions for trading that I can then recoup econ. So here also
you could put some serious dice on Sundervid. You put a fighter here, charge down the line, push him back. You know.
Yeah, I considered it, but my hand's a little awkward with I can't get Sundy dice on a Selundar here. Also, I can force Selundar forward, and that will block the gate spot, but I can put a Slinger on Cell, maybe, is the only other real option I have.
Yeah.
It's possible to put 5 melee and 3 range on Selundar here. I decided to go for more of a clogging strategy. Just mostly because, and this is something that will come up as the game progresses, is that Selundar being low isn't nearly as scary as Sundervid being low.
That's true.
Because Selundar can just kind of chill in the back until they glinting speed forward, while Sundervid needs to kind of be with the squad here. So it's possible that I could have caught him out with a fighter ramming advance play, which might have been the way to go, but I decided to opt for a little bit more of a gate clogging strategy. Unfortunately, one thing here that does suck is drawing Torrid this early, because if I have him later, I can go for more damage on Cell, because if I do, then I can use Torrid, to like dive deep and then he'll Cell over 2 attacks, let's say. So here I opt for clogging up his gate spots and shoving Cell onto that back gate spot, so it's really awkward for him to, like, how do you deal with this fighter, right, without exposing Cell, was my thought here. And I get the 4/4 with Sundervid, which is quite nice. I chip this knight, so it's a little bit of an awkward situation. Do you bounce it? Do you leave it? Then, unless there's something like a ranger plus like a seeker, something like that, I think that Sundervid also doesn't take a lot of damage here, which is nice.
Yeah. So we said goodbye to Torridin. The other Remy advance, hanging on to that martial forces could come clutch. You got your stronghold now, so you can maybe push forward a little if you have to.
Yeah.
Let's see how Champ responds. He's got 2 seekers. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, so the stronghold here is interesting because, and we'll see this as the game progresses, but it is a tempo negative play unless you have a gate to pair with it, right? So unless you're putting down a gate, doing something, and then strongholding around that gate, you'll have to evacuate spots, right? So here, Sundervid's occupying this 10 gate spot. So let's say this was the board position that I had the stronghold in. I wouldn't want to stronghold him away because then it opens up that 10 gate spot. The opportunities with stronghold here are interesting as time goes on, and there's a little bit of a push and pull there. One thing I do regret on this last turn was just not discarding the Slinger, because I drew a pretty awkward set of 3 cards. No, non-Slinger commons, right? And Stronghold, like I said, I don't really want to use here without a gate, and then Quen, it's not the matchup for her, and also it's just not what I really want to be sinking all my magic into. So
Caller
I think if I discarded the Slinger,
your Caller will probably survive.
The Caller will likely survive
for the Slingers.
It's just that I'm trying to occupy spaces, and only having like maybe this fighter dies. Only having like 2 melee commons here, which are about to be injured or dead. That's the issue.
Okay. Oh, even that's kind of an act of desperation, but I suppose necessary. You don't want to only summon one. You even let Selendar take damage to get that Shadow Knight out.
I really like the play, honestly, and it's a thing I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting, is because it does what he wants it to do, which is to block that spot, open up his back gate spot again,
Yeah.
and also hit the fighter.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you play Shadow Elves, you don't get to boost Selendar for damaging himself. But did get 2 hits against the fighter. I kind of clicked through it quickly there. 2 hits against Thundervid. Let's see, and just burned just 1 Seeker. He's really trying to slow play this, I think, and win on Econ. With these extra 2 gates, could make it a little harder for you to block up all the spots. But anyways, as for now, you're summoning a Slinger, 2 Slingers. And just...
Here I thought there's like 2 options. Either go forward with Thundervid to where the fighter is, or back up and use this Slinger to block. My thought was, hey, I could use 6 range, try to hit 4, but this very much was like, well, that mage is going to live, so we're just going to chip the knight and then shove it
back on there. Yeah.
And now I think here is where the tables definitely, like, in terms of like aggression, start to turn, is because he has these 2 gates that he's about to place down. There, my hopes of like trying to clog out the position and get an economic advantage through the like awkwardness there kind of go away, because now there's a plethora of summoning spots for Shadow Elves.
Yeah. And he could have even put more dice on Thundervid, but it looks like he might try to clean up your commons instead. Now Selendar feels a lot safer. You can even slide in and occupy the space. Didn't do it, though.
Yeah, I was curious of whether, like, what faint direction he'd go for there. But ultimately decided just to sit there. And with this Martial Forces in my hand, I could always get 3 range dice on Selendar, but that's really the extent then of my pressure, because once second Martial Forces is gone, it's kind of...
Yeah, you've got no ramming advance, no Torridin.
Yeah, like if I have Torridin here, like if I had drawn him like around now, I would probably discard up to trying to get like a ramming Torridin, or just summon off of a gate spot Torridin to like kind of dive deep and start pressuring Cell. But because I don't have that, that's where things start to get tricky here.
I think I would have used Feint on the True Seeker to occupy the D3 spot here. I don't like the idea of Thundervid or somebody being here, being protected by my own gates. But maybe he's hoping to draw into some shadow pulses and just ping down all your guys if the gates get damaged. I'll finish up this turn here. Expect this fighter will fall. Okay, he's drawn into his second tome, still being very slow to discard. And you are, I guess, just trying to open up the middle here.
Yeah, it was my thought was here, I've held this stronghold for a few turns, and I think in hindsight it was the wrong call, because like I said, I was going for like a tempo positive play, while Stronghold is a tempo negative play, unless you pair it with the gate. But now the board's so clogged with his extra gates. If he didn't have the gate that was like in my B file here, I could do something like walk up with Thundervid, put a gate down, Stronghold him away to safety, start clogging spaces around the 10, and like keep pushing. But because he has these 2 gates now, that's where stuff gets a lot more difficult. And this gate in my hand, I think I end up discarding it because there's really nowhere good to put it. I could put it right in front of Thundervid here, but that doesn't really do anything because like 2 of its sides already clogged. The Seeker would live and just hold that spot anyway. It just kind of contributes to the fog of the board.
I want it over here, but it's hard to get Thundervid over there.
If Thundervid could place it in front of his other 5 gate, that would be the ideal spot for it. That's where you would want it to be. No, the one on the right side.
Oh, you mean Celendar's 5 gate? Yeah, this right here.
Yes.
This spot
That's
here.
that's where it wants to be. That's where if I could put it down there, I would. But as you can see, Sundervid's not there. He's not going to be there for a while. He's kind of stuck here. This mage that I low rolled on with the slinger, so I ultimately decided not to damage it at all, is just still sitting here and hanging out. So here, I've been holding onto the stronghold probably too long. If I was going for a tempo positive play, I probably should have discarded it. But now I can actually use it because I can kind of expose positionally Sundervid, to where he's like deep in enemy territory, and then I can get him out. Which I think is what I end up doing here is maybe not. I don't think I rip the stronghold now, but I hold it again. That way I can get out if he goes for like maybe trying to pin him with a seeker or creating like a big column to like restrict his exit points.
Yeah. Now I thought you might have used the fighter to push him down to the collar. I know
that was the plan, but
wouldn't have done more damage, or it wouldn't have been enough damage to kill him. But
that's the thing with Shadow Elves, though, is that leaving a mage at 1 HP versus 3 isn't super relevant, right? So I originally was going to do exactly what you said, but pushing him down to like farther down here, he'll likely just get turned to shadowed, and Telendar will spend 2 boosts and lose that position. But I mean, my thought here was to instead try and go for again clogging more and just making the position more awkward. It's not my first choice. I was planning on hitting that 4 or 5 melee, but I think this might be so this is like the second time I've whiffed on this page, which the whiffs here start to add up in this matchup.
Yeah, I like taking advantage of the rush from that ranger to summon twice from that spot on the gate. It's really got you surrounded here and makes Celendar feel actually pretty safe at 6 HP. Curious to see if he'll spend another attack on Sundervid. I think I would.
Yeah, chipping the collar doesn't do anything here, so it's a very patient play, the way he's played it thus far, with the low discard. And the thing with patient play is that if you don't lose on tempo, then you're going to be ahead. So like he has an economic advantage here because he's slow discarded it and played patient.
Yeah, and I like how everyone's lined up on this 10 gate, which really makes it hard for you to get in and do multiple angles of attack. Although he has left this spot open, which would be a nice...
It's also like awkward for me to utilize Sundervid's aura. That's a big thing in this position, I would say. Like there's just not a lot of spots that are choked out that like it's hard to utilize Sundy's aura, on my 3 attacks.
Yeah, the only spaces that are like really in the diamond are behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what I ended up deciding to do.
Yeah. So I think we'll see a stronghold used at the end of this turn.
Oh yeah, this is what I was saving it for. And there's still a hope economically here. It's just going to require on getting some confirmed dice kills. But unfortunately, kind of keep whiffing. It'll just chipping this collar. Sorry, that mage, and then we stronghold out. Which this is a pretty safe spot for Sundy. I don't think there's a lot that could actually like do significant damage to him from this position. It's like Sage Ranger Knight can do like 2 melee or something, and there's no Into Darkness on the gate, so he's pretty safe here. But the whiffs continue to kind of tilt the matchup in the direction of Shadow Elves.
Well, you had an earlier turn where you got 8 out of 8 swords, so
true.
These things do tend to even out as the game gets longer. There's the Shadow Pulse. Let's ping you a little. Sorry, back up a little bit here. Yeah, so need to get some more units on the board. You got plenty of magic.
Yep. And now the plan here is, I believe, prioritize these mages while keeping Sunday as safe as possible. We go for a 4 to 6 melee here, which I believe I collect on this one.
Got 5. That's enough. Need 3 out of 3 here. Not quite. Oh, going for Sunderved there.
This is the danger threshold, I would say.
Yeah.
Like above like 10 HP, he's okay. It's when you get down into like the 6 HP-ish region, like the 4 to 6 especially, sometimes 7, 4 to 7 is like, now you're in kill shot threshold for Shadow Elves.
Yeah, and I love this positioning. Celendar's right here, so you can even do a couple Shadow Pulse on your own units and get some more boost that way. Didn't bother doing a Shadow Pulse on the Seeker because he's out of range to collect boost on it for blood magic. But yeah, down to 4. Now we're looking a little dicey.
So at this point in the matchup, this is where I start to go, okay, I think I'm going to need them to do some kind of risky kill shot and then whiff on it. Like if I can get them to do a 70% kill shot and then whiff, that's probably my best chance of survival here. I would say. So
never feels good when you're in that position, but you do have to play your outs.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. This is the thing that never happens. It's about to happen.
I'm curious about that Into Darkness.
Yeah, I wasn't completely expecting that. I guess Celendar needed 1 more boost. Yeah, now he can do the combo.
And this kill shot overall is a 90% kill shot, so a bit higher than what I was hoping for. But he had the Talia, and he ended up getting me.
You'd never expect it. I think this is the first. I don't play a whole lot of Shadow Elves, but I think this is the first time I've seen Talia actually do something very impactful. So this is this is exciting for me.
Yeah, no, I think that I actually like Talia's role in Shadow Elves, and the thing is that, as conventional wisdom often says, they don't need their champions, right? Like Samara can, like, if there's a well-defended low HP summoner, can put some summoner pressure that way, and can sometimes be, you know, economically, like that 4 melee can be nice, eating up a bunch of like 3 or less health, you know, things. And Lucian, you know, can be a nice economic engine, but like generally that magic is better spent on their commons. But that means that your champions can be niche, right? The first time I played Shadow Elves, I actually got a kill that with Talia, which was just from being high magic. I think I used a tome to pull her out of the discard. And like, yeah, if in 95 out of 100 games, 98 out of 100 games, you don't play her, that's fine. She's an easy magic to just dump into your commons, and you can keep recycling your commons to spend all your magic that you ever need for that end game, and that's great. But I mean, it's a threat that here, like, there's no way I'm going to play around Talia this position,
exactly.
right? If I'm ahead, right? If I'm doing well, I might spare a thought and go, you know what? We should play around. There's a crazy kill shot here with Talia, Glinter Speed, and all these things.
This 9-gate or 10-gate that took some damage.
From a mage. I might, if I was ahead, I would probably, you know, be careful about that. If he's like got 7 less cards than he does right now, or maybe not that many, but like 6 less cards, and he has just a grip that he's holding on to at the very end with a bunch of magic, I might go, okay, let's be careful here, flood the board with goats, make sure that we don't take, you know, any unnecessary risks. But when you're behind, you have to take risks, and I was hoping here for a risky kill shot that I could then punish. This was a pretty consistent kill shot because he managed to, you know, get past all of the goats and get a Selundar here. Like, I think the kill shot I would want him to try to take is like some kind of attack with a Seeker feint next to um, Thundervid here, and then like Glinting Speed for a 4 out of 5 range or something like that. If he gets like that antsy and pulls that kill shot out, then hits 4 out of 5, hits 4 out of 5. That is what it is. But hits 3 out of 5, and I can then kill Cell. That's perfect. But Talia
Yeah.
ends up getting that extra 2 melee, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been a really fun game. Sorry it didn't work out for you, but it was exciting to watch. And you have any closing thoughts?
Well, I mean, hopefully I can come back with some of the other factions that I brought to the tournament and fight against the Shadow Elves once more. I was taking a look at the bracket because I was curious, and I think that I get a rematch against Champ if I beat Storm Goblins and then either Drake's on Rebellion or Deepwood Groaks. And then if Shadow Elves beats either Crimson Order or Polar Dwarves. So it's possible for us to meet up in the bracket again or farther up the field later.
Well, there's a lot of possibilities, that's for sure.
Yes, for sure. So hopefully we'll get a rematch, and at the very least, the tournament will not be won by me on the same faction.
Yeah, well, single elimination, a lot can happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just get into a matchup where it's not the best. Things don't go the best for you. But I feel like you had a pretty good start here. He just kind of ran out of steam, especially with him drawing those 2 gates and placing them in a way to maximally obstruct your progress. So.
Yeah, if you actually wouldn't mind going back to the beginning, could you just check his hand for the first few turns? Because I actually am curious of something. When did he draw those gates at the same time, or did he hold
same
long?
time. Same time.
Ah, okay.
So
I was
here's
wondering.
the start of turn 4. Here's the start of turn 6.
Gotcha. And he played. What did he play? A Shadow Mage, a Knight, and 2 discards. So he drew 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious because there is a tactic of when you're being aggressed upon, especially like with like gate destruction or gate pressure. If you can operate without putting down a gate, if you hold a gate in your hand, you can kind of, uh, force your opponent to bait your opponent into sinking their costs into something that isn't beneficial. But in this case, it was just drawing those 2 gates. Although to be fair, I think he drew them yeah.
Well, he was drawing 4 cards when he did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he took his hand down to 1, so then he had 4 cards to draw, and 2 of them were those gates.
Yeah, good game, and hopefully we shall meet again.
Oh, I'm sure we will. And thanks to all of our viewers. I'm sure we'll see you again next time for more Faction Masters.